What is up, guys? Welcome, Crypto FUD, and let's jump right into this, guys. Wow, what a fantastic Monday we're having. We've been having a great, Sunday going into Monday. Bitcoin right now looking absolutely fantastic. Are we going to see an altcoin season start? Are we going to start seeing alts start finally just like doing that 2x that we've said they were initially going to do, as far as getting back up to their just back to the gains that we lost in the last few weeks? Let's find out, guys. Let's jump right into this. So I hope you guys are having a fantastic Monday. It is a good Monday when the charts are in the green, right? When your portfolio is finally starting to move up, it's always a good day, right? We've seen a brutal few weeks, few months. It's always good to have some of these days. We're going to cover why this is going on. We're going to cover what I think is going to be happening in the next few weeks, what to expect in regards to just basically Bitcoin and really alts, right? Memes, because I know that's what a lot of us are invested in. What can we expect as far as what's going to happen with these altcoins if we can get Bitcoin back up and running and Bitcoin starts getting up into these 90,000, 100,000 that we know is going to happen, but it's all about when, right? All about when. So make sure you guys hit that like, hit that subscribe. Let's jump right into this. What's going on, Manny? So right now, Bitcoin's sitting at around 88,137, looking absolutely fantastic. Today, as of last night, really, Sunday night, we started to see Bitcoin just start moving itself towards the upside. Started moving. You can see we were kind of teeter-tottering around 83,000, 84,000. We talked about this on our members-only stream on Saturday. Just real boring, nothing really going on. And I called this out. I said, guys, listen, until we can get word of any kind of relief with these tariffs, that's really what's spooking the market. That's what's causing uncertainty. We have all this bullish stuff going on the back end for crypto, but until we can get past these tariffs, we're probably not going to see big movement. So what we were talking about in the members only stream was leverage trading, and also, right now and as of this weekend was just beautiful dollar cost averaging time, right? To just be accumulating, let everything play itself out. Fear and greed right now. Fear is we're in a heavy fear zone. This is beautiful time, in my opinion, to just be dollar cost averaging in and accumulating on whatever you feel is going to be bullish, right? So with that being said, obviously we saw yesterday and today Bitcoin start moving itself up, and we are at, like I keep telling you guys, above 88,000. Looks like we've so far hit our head at around 88,800. There is a big resistance zone at around 88,850, somewhere around there. So we came just short of that, but it looks like we'll pretty much call that as a rejection for now. Why are we seeing Bitcoin starting to move up? Well, a couple things, right? A couple things. The main thing is that we've gotten word, and we're going to cover the article, but we've gotten word as of last night, this morning, we covered this on our Discord, that Trump is supposedly thinking about backing off on a lot of these big tariffs for this for the April 2nd retaliatory tariffs is what he's calling it, right? Where pretty much we saw Mexico, Canada, China, right? Well, he basically was saying, you know what? If any country is tariffing the United States, we're gonna do the exact same, kind of counter whatever they're tariffing. Markets don't like that, right? Uncertainty, they definitely don't like it, especially us having to anticipate it occurring. Waiting, I mean, technically it would be in about 10 days from now. It's just, it's the markets don't like any of that stuff. So that's why we've seen low volume. We haven't seen a lot of big movements in the market, right? And this isn't just crypto, right? We've been covering this S&P, the whole stock market, everything as a whole has been just real stagnant after the big sell-offs that we saw probably about 2 weeks ago and last week. So why are we turning around? Well, obviously we're getting a little bit of relief from these tariffs. Hopefully he's going to back off on a lot of these things. Now, whether you support it or you don't, right? That's a whole nother discussion. We're just here about money. Obviously we want to see our portfolios get in the green, right? So with that being said, we kind of want to see these tariffs get resolved, right? Let them figure everything out, but we need it as soon as possible so the markets can kind of retrace back up to where we were. And let's see us get this last big run that we know we're going to get as far as with the market, right? Because I've been calling this one big major move. It's not going to be a quick, overnight blow off top, but I do think that we have one big major move for Bitcoin in the market. I'm not saying that we're going to go to zero after, but I do think that the markets are going to naturally cool off, right? If you think about the cycles and stuff like that, 2000 2026 usually will if you look at the last 4-year cycles, how they occur, usually 2026 should be that year where we're going to start seeing some cool offs and we start getting into a bear market, right? No one likes to talk about it, but a possible bear market, it's inevitable. It's going to come, right? But I still do think that we have a major run ahead of us, and I think this is going to be even more epic just because of the fact that what we've seen in the last few weeks, people have, well, the smart money has been doubling down, tripling down, picking up their money or picking up their positions, adding to their positions, basically just preparing for that next big run, right? And that's where millionaires are going to be made, right? People that were scared to buy in these last few weeks, people that were selling. I got a call today from my realtor. I'm not going to call you out. He might be watching. And he's like, hey, bro. He's like, walk me through Coinbase. He's like, I need to start moving some stuff. I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, oh, I'm going to just sell a bunch of my stuff. I'm like, dude, I'm not going to give you financial advice. I was like, but right now, I was like, you're going to start selling off of all your stuff. I was like, bro, it looks like Bitcoin's already bottomed and we might be moving towards the upside. This is as of this morning, and I was like, I'm not financial advice, dude. I was like, but I would just hold off. I was like, as long as you don't need the money right now. I was like, I don't understand it. Are you getting bored? And he's like, yeah, I'm just tired of looking at it. I was like, dude, just let it be. I let it be. I was like, and give it, if it's a few weeks or a few months, I was like, and come back. I guarantee your portfolio probably will be in the green and you'll be in the profit. So hopefully he took that advice. Wasn't financial advice, right? But hopefully he took that advice and he's running with it. So bullish, what's going on? Ricky's in the house. MEX, Flip. Happy belated birthday, brother. We shouted you out. I think it was on Saturday, right? Your birthday? Happy birthday, brother. Craig's in the house. All right. If Craig's in the house, that means we're running. That if Craig's in the house, that means things are getting good here. Craig does not show up unless the markets are doing good. All right. And so if Craig's here, that's a good sign, guys. It's like almost like inverse Kramer. If Craig's here, we should be good, right? So let's get into a couple bullish things that I have going on, or not me, but we have as far as the markets. So one thing I just saw as of 3 hours ago, breaking. Michael Saylor just bought more Bitcoin, almost $600 million worth of Bitcoin he bought for today. Now holding up to almost, I was going to say almost 45, but exactly $44.7 billion worth of Bitcoin. And it's not just him, but his company that he manages, strategies, right? So right here, we did get breaking news, 580 million. He has been actually scrounging up his millions, right, from his investors and trying to pick up this 80,000, around this $84,000 mark, which, like I told you, we have Saylor buying. We had Trump and his Liberty whatever company. They've been accumulating like crazy, buying on the back end while everybody's sitting here, oh my God, tariffs. Dude sitting here, not him, but his company buying, and we're seeing a lot of whale action. In the back end, a lot of whales, I don't know necessarily picking up more Bitcoin, but we've seen a lot of whale movement as of recently. And usually, especially when you're seeing Saylor, you're seeing, Trump's company and a lot of other projects or a lot of people that we've been talking about that have been accumulating in these last few weeks. It's telling you, the big money is telling you it's not over yet, guys. It's not over yet. Retail is the one that's selling off. Right, they're running with the ETFs, the stock market, and they're selling off scared, running to their mommies, telling them that they got scammed, crypto's a scam, they hate everything, and they're clocking back into their McDonald's jobs, right? But the big money is like, hell yeah, I'm getting this opportunity to just accumulate more at 84,000. Hell yeah, because they probably know the big picture. Bitcoin's probably going to be breaking 150K by the end of this year, right? We had that guy, Michael Lee, the Asian guy, very smart. The guy was basically, he's been calling out a lot of things, and he's basically saying, this is a buying opportunity right here, what we've been going through. And he's been indicating, he's like, by the end of this year, I wouldn't be surprised if Bitcoin breaks well above $150,000, which, it seems not far-fetched now, right? Because, if you think about it, we've already been up to 109,000. 150,000, honestly, is probably a really good, solid 2 months of us running, which that would play into everything that I really do think is going to be coming. Time frame, we don't know, right? I saw mixed reviews today on YouTube. I saw some YouTubers just like, hell yeah, this is it. The pump's coming. And I saw a few YouTubers, which I respect both sides, are saying, is this some kind of a bull trap, right? Where we're seeing a nice run only to get faked out again, right? And I understand how people would look at it, and it's like, is this just another fake out, or is this another breakout? And if you look, we're on the 2 hours. Since we've bottomed out pretty much at around 76,500, if you see, we technically have been making higher highs as we move, right? Lower highs as well. And that's usually indicating that the market, even if it's just short term, has bottomed out for now, and we're on our upward movement, right? And this is even before we even got any news that there was going to be reliefs on the tariffs, right? This is basically just Bitcoin found that bottom. Basically, in hindsight, or not hindsight, but to simplify it, sellers got overpowered by buyers, right? And that's why we're seeing higher highs and higher lows as we continue. So, as of now, things don't look bad. If you look at the whole market as a whole right now, we're in the green. We're in the green across the board, right? This is the top 100. A couple projects like this form. I don't know if you guys want to let me know what's going on here, but I don't know. I've never seen this form before, but seeing some good movement. We have Crow up 14%. Nice. We have Memecoins. Memecoins are doing really well today, guys. And this is something that I called out on the members only stream, but I've been calling this out for the last week, really since the last month. Remember, what was this, 2 weeks ago, maybe a week and a half ago, we kind of measured how far some of these meme coins, particularly meme coins, have gone down in the last 2 months. And it is mind-boggling how most of the meme coins right now, or where they were as of last week, were down 90+%. 90+%. And I was like, guys, listen, I wouldn't be surprised on this next, big move, once the market gets confidence, that we see meme coins, after the market gets its confidence back, right? Meme coins are going to probably 2x. Every meme coin's probably going to 2x, and that's really just it going back up to where it was 2 months ago, right? So anybody that's been accumulating in these last month, few weeks, not guaranteed, not financial advice, but I wouldn't be surprised on just the investments that you bought in on the last few weeks, you see a nice return on those projects. Now, not only just meme coins, but alts as well, right? I say memes because usually memes right now, particularly, even if the memes like Pepe and Bunk and all them that were $1 billion meme coins, they dropped down 70+%. The smaller meme coins, right? Like your Myro, your Milady, we can go down the list on some of the few. Mog, right? They are down 90%. So those are the ones that I'm saying that have the really small market caps that I wouldn't be surprised that easily do a 2, maybe even a 3x as the markets kind of just get back up to those levels that we saw just a few weeks ago, maybe a month or two, however long it's been. It's been a blur in the last month and a half. I've been just just buying and kind of just what, when everything gets back up and running, we'll know it, so. Ozomo, what's going on, brother? Bandez, what's going on, brother? Said things are looking bullish. I'm banking on Fartcoin. Fartcoin, I'm just kidding. Let me pull up Fartcoin real quick because Fartcoin's been actually doing really well. I'm going to finish reading what you're saying. Bitcoin dominance right now, you guys can see, we always want to cover this, still on that upward trend. This trend basically started at the end of 2022, and you can see we are still moving up as far as Bitcoin dominance. We did have that little drop. This was when alts kind of broke out, but since then, since there was a lot of fear in the market, obviously people moved a lot of their assets back into Bitcoin just because of the fear in the market. So you can see dominance is still moving up. So when we start seeing dominance moving down and Bitcoin's holding and alts are moving, that's when we're going to know. I wanted to pull up Fartcoin. This is on the daily, but from what I was hearing, Fartcoin was making some, definitely was, I'm trying to think of a Fartcoin joke. I didn't have one ready today, guys. I'm a little disappointed. Didn't have a Fartcoin joke today. Let's mark this bottom right here for, Smelly Coin. That's what I'm going to call it. So from this bottom, if anybody did pick up Fartcoin at around 20 cents, I mean, Fartcoin's already, good God. Good God. That's like one of those when you just you blast one and you're just like, you even impress yourself. You're like, wow, I'm impressed. I'm impressed. 294% this thing has moved up since it's bottomed out. Not on the daily, but since, what is this, March 10th. So literally in 2 weeks, Fartcoin has bottomed, no pun intended, and has literally ran up almost 200% in the last 2 weeks. So Fartcoin, I think, is one of those farts that are just going to linger. You think you leave the room for a little while, right? And you come back and you're like, all right, it should be good. And you come back and it's even worse. That's going to be Fartcoin. It's not going anywhere, guys. Anywhere. And I'm kind of kicking myself because I did say that I was going to buy some of the Fartcoin when we bottomed out. And it was just like, it goes, it's like you're buying everything else and you kind of forget, in the gist of everything, like what, because I hate holding on to 27 different projects at once. So it's like I get fixated on like maybe 4 or 5 projects and I like to just kind of, go heavy on those. So it's like trying to think of buying Fartcoin at the bottom. Now I'm looking back and I'm like, yeah, that would have been a good move. Definitely a good move. Fartcoin, I'm telling you, is not a bad little meme coin. I wouldn't be surprised, kind of like cocking you and stuff like that. Everybody's screaming Fartcoin in the next few months. Old said he's missed the last 3 streams. Get the hell out of here, Old. I'm just kidding. It's all good, brother. Oh, yeah. Bandit said, I'm banking on Fartcoin, SPX, PopCat, and Giga for this next leg up. I was saying this the other day. I was like, bro, bro and girl. I was telling everybody, I was like, dude, just get a freaking dice. It's got 6 sides. Write down whatever projects you're interested in and just roll the dice and just buy whatever it lands on. Because this was as of like last week. I was like, because everything is down like crazy. It's just a buying opportunity across the board, right? It's just basically whatever you're bullish on is pretty much what it is. Khalil, fortune favors the brave. There you go for Crow. Ricky said, your Fartcoin jokes really know how to clear the room. That is funny, Ricky. It is funny because my fart jokes are pretty lame. So I'm going to start before I start the stream, I'm going to start writing down fart jokes. So I'm going to have it like behind the camera so I can just look like I'm looking at you guys, and I'm going to have them all listed like a bunch of just zingers just rolling off the tongue. Get ready. And this is all because of Ricky. So get ready, guys. It's coming. It's coming. So, but all jokes aside, guys, I mean, this is great. This is great. Like I said, a lot of bullishness going on in the market right now. Sailor picking up $600 million worth of Bitcoin. Another alert, Arkham. Shout out to Arkham. If you guys aren't, follow them on X. This is the page. If you want to know where all the whales and the big like government, they follow all the big wallets, right? So they're going to give you all the lowdown on what's going on. It says billionaire Bitcoin whale appears to have just bought Bitcoin. A $1 billion Bitcoin whale has just withdrew 200 million of Bitcoin this morning from Binance. He started acquiring Bitcoin 5 days ago after selling between 100,000 and 86,000 in February. You guys see that? So he sold some, not much, but about $100,000 back in February, and now he's starting to accumulate, right? Are you catching the gist here? Big money has been buying in. They've been buying in while all the little baby retailers have all been selling off in fear, right? We always talk about this. We've been talking about this for the last 2 years with fear and greed. A lot of people literally just trade off of fear and greed, right? Where they basically, and I use this analogy a lot for my buying and selling as well. I love to buy in fear, and even better when we're in extreme fear. When we're in extreme fear, that's usually bear market or something bad's happened, right? Either with crypto or just, macro or with the economy, something, right? Has scared the shit out of everybody. Extreme fear, even in fear. Beautiful time, in my opinion, to be buying, right? When everybody else is scared. I stop buying when we get back in towards like where we're getting close to neutral. I'm like, it's rare to catch me buying, right? It's usually coasting. When we're in neutral, I'm usually coasting. I've already accumulated enough. And then when we're in greed and extreme greed, especially extreme greed, is when I'm looking for exit. I'm looking for the exit, not immediately, but this is one of the red flags that'll pop up, kind of giving you either we're in a short-term top or the market has completely topped, with that greed or extreme greed there. So a lot of big traders, especially big money, follow this fear and greed index. So market cap looking great, up 3.6%. We're at 2.88 trillion for today. So, things look great, guys. Everything looks great. So, Carlos, what's going on, brother? Canary, I didn't get to see what you were saying, bro. You deleted it. Well, let's jump into a couple things here. Let me see on my bullish. Yeah, I picked up some call. Remember, I called it out, especially on we called it out on the member stream. I told you I picked up, and I'm up 20% or more actually. I told you call was a good buy when we dropped down into those 19, anything under that 20 level on call. We dropped down to this area. This was a beautiful buy zone, in my opinion, right? You can see the 20 mark was a big spot that we would hold as support. Calls on Chronos, if you're not familiar. Big Chronos channel, obviously. We love all the ecosystems. Solana even more, but Chronos definitely our roots and Chronos. So below that 20 definitely was a good buy zone. Bullish said he picked up a bag. Canary, excuse me. Canary said, wait until you hear his poo jokes. Canary, you are all right. So I'm gonna have to bring it up real quick, guys. Don't leave like, oh my God. Listen. So this one time we're streaming, and this guy's on the chat just chilling. He keeps going poo, and he's going poo poo, poo, poo poo, and I'm like, we're having a live stream, probably like 80 people in here, right? And I'm like, hold on, pause. I'm like, bro, why do you keep saying poo poo in the chat, dude? I was like, you don't like the stream? Kick rocks, right? And it got real quiet, and everybody's like, bro, he's saying poo coin. Just can you check out poo coin? And I'm like, oh shit, bro. I'm like, my bad, dude. I was like, I thought you were saying poo poo, because he kept saying poo poo, poo poo. Yeah, it was an awkward moment, but I made it right. We pulled up poo, and I gave him some good TA on that coin. So Canary, day one right there, bro. Gene, here we go. Gene's coming in. What's your Bitcoin price in 3 months from now? Gene, he always comes in with the hard questions. Like, bro, Gene will come in and be like, listen, where do you see Bitcoin 2026, April 21st? Where is that going to be? I'm like, dude, put you on the spot. Bro, to be honest, 3 months from now, anything can happen, right? Anything can happen. I think the safest thing to say is just like anybody else says, right? For right now, as if we can get past, a lot of this macro stuff, particularly the tariffs, right? If we can get past these tariffs as far as getting resolved, forgotten, whatever the case is, on top of Jerome Powell, which I called this out last week, I do believe. Let's pull up the chart while we have it. Where is it? Right here. I do believe on this next meeting, which is going to be in a month and a half, a little bit over, I do believe that we are going to see a reduction in interest rates. I'm calling it now. I think in May, a lot of people are calling June, right? You can see how in May, we still have 88.5% are calling for a pause. I think this is going to shift a little bit. I think we're going to see like a 50-50, right? I am part of the 50% that thinks we're going to get a reduction in May. We got a good CPI report on the last round. I think the economy is at a spot where they can. I feel like they have enough ammo to reduce interest rates. We've seen pauses for the last quarter, if not longer. I think we've seen it for the last 2 quarters, if I'm not mistaken, right? So I feel like Jerome Powell, I think he's going to reduce interest rates a quarter percent. We'll see how it is, but that's what I'm saying for right now. I like to call it out very early. A lot of the market right now is pricing in June. So not next month, but the following meeting in June, some kind of a reduction in interest rates. Right now, about 60% are calling for a quarter. So the point of what I'm getting to is if we see these tariffs get resolved, we see Jerome Powell coming out very dovish. with some kind of a reduction in interest rates, particularly in May, I think in the next 3 months, bro, we could see the markets get right back to where they were, and we could be looking at $100,000+ Bitcoin stable, meaning, if we do have bad days, Bitcoin's coming down and maybe bouncing at 100,000 as our lows, right? So, but that basically the tariff part needs to happen. If we don't get those tariffs resolved, we could easily fall right back into what we have. Remember, guys, we're only seeing a solid 36 hours of us moving towards the upside, right? It feels good, right? It feels like we're back up and running, but things could easily turn right around, So you have to keep that in mind, and just understand that things are good right now. Hopefully they continue, but things can easily turn right back to where we were at. So, all right, guys, hold the hell up. We got freaking Lazy in the house, bro. I saw a blue name. I'm like, wait, who's blue in here? Lazy hasn't shown his face in, 2 months? He said, sorry, life has been lifting. Oh, bro, I hope everything's good for you, bro. I'm just messing with you. I hope everything's good for you, man. I'm glad that you're still kicking it and doing all right. I'm like, where the hell has Lazy been? Where has he been? I'm glad you're doing all right, bro. I'm sorry if anything, is going on right now in life. Keep your head up. We'll be back up and running, dude. Ricky's Chronos is jumping up a little bit. It's up 14% right now. It's definitely up 14%. And when you see that, 13.9%, when you see that, you're going to see, let's see here, Chronos particularly is not doing bad. Remember this project that I called out in the members only stream on Saturday, this Arum Trust? Look at this thing since the stream. This was back just where it was. This thing ran up over 100% since that members only stream. Remember I was talking about it's backed by gold on the Chronos. This thing went on a massive run. Obviously it is having a nice little cooldown as of now, but massive run in the last 2 days. But you guys can see across the board in Bara is another one that's kind of cooling down, but this has seen a nice little move towards the upside. You can see it kind of, went dormant, bottomed out, and then this thing shot up like 200%, and you're seeing somewhat of a little bit of a cool off as of now. So, but across the board, even on Chronos, you are seeing some good movement on your big players like Call, Mary, doing really well. Ryoshi coming back to life. Push. Trying to see. Dark Matter Esports. What is this? Kind of a small. How long has this been out for? A day? If it survives, we'll talk about it. And then on the watch list for Solana, we have FOMO up 160%, Echo platform 41%, RNA. I know a couple people are on RNA on the channel, not doing bad, coming back to life, up almost 30%. I ain't gonna lie, RNA, it was kind of like, ooh, the transactions and the volume was dropping down very bad. I mean, I know it was a rough time for DeFi in the last few weeks, so it's good to see a lot of stuff coming back to life today, guys. It really is. But like I said, don't get ahead of yourself, right? We still need to break some solid zones for us to really be like, all right, we're back up and running, right? A couple of things I do want to point out for this week. We do have the GDP dropping on the 27th, which is technically, I believe, Thursday. Yep, Thursday, we have GDP dropping. So that's going to be, it could be a market mover only because it's forecast to come down a considerable amount. Previous GDP quarter, 3.1%. Basically, we're forecast to be at around 2.3%. This is basically how much the economy has grown in the last quarter, right? So we are technically not going to be, it doesn't look like it's going to be coming in too good. So we'll have to see how that plays out in regards to the macro, but I guess we'll cover that on Thursday and see how the markets are reacting. We might see a little bit of volatility as we get closer towards Thursday. So hopefully we can kind of move up, and get ahead of us get ahead of ourselves as much as possible as far as with Bitcoin and alts. And then if we do see a little bit of a cool off, we can hold some higher 80s or maybe even break above 90K before we start seeing that cool off. So crypto today, this is basically a kind of a whole rough draft on what's going on. We're not going to go too crazy on it, but crypto today, Trump's tariff update sparks Bitcoin rally as AVAX, Solana, Chainlink lead altcoin gains. So the cryptocurrency sector, I hate saying cryptocurrency, right? Crypto sector's validation rose 3.3% on Monday, reaching 2.83 trillion mark for the first time in 2 weeks. The market rally is linked to reports that the U.S. plans to exclude sector-specific tariffs ahead of April 2nd deadline. Bitcoin price recovered above 88K level, with Solana, Chainlink, and Avalanche among the top gainers within the altcoin market. So Bitcoin market updates, we already know. Bitcoin surge got up to almost 89,000. On Monday, Bitcoin's price rally has been linked to an imminent tariff rollbacks by the Trump administration, adding to active positive sentiment from the Federal Reserve. Federal Reserve rate pause last week. Michael Saylor announced that Strategy acquired $3 billion in profits on Q1, and he just picked up $600 million or $580 million as far as today for Bitcoin as well. That's in the last 2 weeks, he's picked up probably about $800 million worth of Bitcoin, which is crazy. Been buying the dip like crazy. So why is the crypto market up today? Well, the U.S. Fed decision to maintain rates unchanged last week ignited risk-on appetite across the. Unchanged last week ignited risk-on appetite across global risk assets markets. This saw demand for the U.S. weaken 4% from its January peaks. So they're trying to say because Jerome Powell, we basically had another pause in interest rates last week, but we already knew that was happening. The market already had it priced in. That's why when it happened, it didn't even do anything to the market. We already knew it was going to happen. That really isn't the reason for anything. I've been telling you guys this. I'm going to keep saying it until it's finished, like a broken record. It's the tariffs, right? It's the tariffs. It is just basically it leaves the whole markets where they're uncertain, and uncertainty causes fear. Fear causes sell-offs, and that's why it's not just crypto, but it's across the board everywhere, right? So it says, secondly, the Trump administration has hinted at another round of exclusions from reciprocal tariffs on April 2nd, with the possibility of excluding sector-specific tariffs. This incentivizes investors to place large bullish bets and expectations that tariff rollbacks could further lower inflation. These two major macro events have sparked increased demand for risk assets globally as investors rotate out of USD, the dollar, backed securities, expecting interest rates to remain low for longer. So that pretty much gives us, what's kind of going on. We already talked about that. But as of this morning, Avalanche was up 10%. Chainlink was up 6%. So big movers. DWF Labs unveils a $200 million liquid fund to accelerate Web3 growth. DYDX launches its first DYDX buyback program to enhance network security. World Network explores Visa partnership for self-custody crypto wallet integration. Those are going to be a few of the main big topics for today. But the big thing is why is the market seeing a good move? It's because a possibility of rollbacks as far as with the tariffs. So we won't beat a dead horse here and continue to say the same thing over and over about that. And let's see here. BlackRock receives $100 million of Bitcoin from Coinbase Prime, and they haven't sold anything in the past week. Let's see here. I think that's pretty much it for that. There was something. Where is it? I wanted to pull up. We talked about this the other day. I don't know if you guys saw this guy right here. This was circling across the board. This guy right here, I saw a couple people talking about this on YouTube. This guy right here last year posted on X, which was Twitter, I believe, as of last year. I don't remember when it changed over. But he said that $84,000 Bitcoin was coming and that it was going to be around 84,000 for a good period of time before it shoots up to here. Get this, right? This was last year. He called 84,000. Now remember, where have we been sitting for the last freaking 2 weeks? 84K, right? Coincidental? Possibly. But this guy also shorted the market at our top when Bitcoin ran up to 109,000. He also shorted. He has, if you come onto his page, he shows you all his trades, right? And he shorted the market, so confident on what he was believing. Shorted it, turned $2 million into $22 million on a short, right? And now he's calling for a big prediction, guys. Get this. We talked about this on the member stream. This guy is calling for this year, I believe this year, $444,000 Bitcoin is what he was calling. Now, I don't remember if he said for this year or when he gave the time frame, but he said Bitcoin is going to get to $444,000, I believe, on this bull run, right? I don't think he gave a time frame. But just something to think about. Absolutely crazy. Is this guy some kind of prophecy, Bitcoin prophecy? Who freaking knows? But he's been showing you his moves. If you come onto his page, his name is Josh Mann. He's been showing his moves, and he's been absolutely killing it in the last year as far as what he's been predicting and actually putting his money where his mouth is and showing you his moves and how much money he's been making. So, been absolutely ripping. Check him out, Josh Mann on X. Lazy said, I probably got 250 to throw in on Wednesday and Thursday. Where should I put it in? I don't know, bro. I have no financial advice, brother. I really don't know, brother. I would kind of, I don't know if you wanted to do dollar cost average in right now, or maybe wait to see before or around that time. Like I said, we might see some volatility coming, with the GDP dropping. GDP is kind of tricky. Sometimes it's like a nothing burger. And then sometimes, it's like, it can make the market, it can move the market. So I would maybe just kind of watch. A lot of things have pumped in the last 24 hours. So I would kind of just wait and see. Maybe, even though a lot of stuff's pumped, it's still down like crazy. So, dollar cost averaging in would be the way to go, not financial advice. But maybe if you wait, you might even get another 10%, cool off spot where you can buy in on any particular projects. Fartcoin's been killing it, I'm just going to say. Demon said, I think Bitcoin will drop to 84 again because it needs to fill the CME gap. I did see something like that. We do have some gaps that we kind of still have. That's why, I say this, and we're not going to start turning bearish because today is a bullish stream, right? But there are, let me see if this is the chart. I believe it says we still have a spot where we really didn't come down to that I really thought that we were going to particularly need to bounce off of, and that's really going to be this $73,000 mark. Somewhere around, it's 73.7. This is our previous high before we actually ripped up towards 100,000. We never came back to retest this level. Now I'm not saying that we need to. I'm just saying I really did think that we were going to come down and probably bounce off this level and then just start absolutely ripping, right? Where the sellers were going to be outgunned, and buyers were just going to come over with just like sweet vengeance, and Bitcoin that's our run up to 130,000. We never really got there, so I'm not ruling it out yet necessarily. So that's why I keep saying, everything looks great and we're doing good, but at the same time, we're not really, we haven't really shot up like crazy where we're like, oh yeah, it's back up and running. We're just having a good day right now. JB said, this is still not the bull run, not even close. Everyone's still on the red. I agree with you, bro. Bullish said Crow is up because of the announcement probably. What's Bullish? What's the announcement? What did we miss? Lazy said, bro, cause Google is showing me stuff. What's going on with Shiba? Something like a billion burn. Are they burning $1 billion worth? That's the only way it would be bullish. If they're burning $1 billion Shiba, that's like $100. You got to be careful because a lot of these people pay to get in the front of like Google and all the advertisements. So I even notice when I go on some of these crypto sites, they'll say it in fine print, this is paid promotion. And I'm like, I'm just like, bro, why? You should put that in big bold letters, because you're sitting here reading an article. You're like, oh crap, this is bullish. And then you kind of see it in fine letters. This is paid promotion. It's like, get out of here with that. Oh, one wallet. But is it $1 billion worth of Shiba? Because if that's the case, that's like a lot. It's like, I don't know where Shiba's at right now, but I would say it's probably at like what, $5 billion? $8 billion. Absolutely crazy. This thing is still so high. You think so? That is bullish, bro. If you think about that, 8 billion. If they're gonna burn 1/8 of their market cap, essentially, that's what is that? That's like 15% right there. Not necessarily saying it's gonna shoot up 15% from there, but that's taking out a big chunk of circulating supply. Yeah, let me know. Here we go, Shiba versus Doge. It's been going forever. This was the stock market today. So we saw a big bounce in the S&P as well. Like I said at the beginning of the stream, this isn't just a crypto thing. Crypto's not the only risk on asset that's down. It's been across the board. And you can see even the stock market today had a nice bounce with a lot of these trillion-dollar stocks up 3% or more as of today. So a lot of money has flown in to the markets today, not only crypto. It says your ex-girlfriend when Bitcoin hits 200,000 this year. That's funny. Bitcoin hit 87. Look, there goes Ricky. Oh yeah. Oh, Lazy said it's 1 billion coins at 13K. Oh, gosh. It's a start, right? It's a start. I can't believe that's even like newsworthy. That's crazy. Ricky said he's been trying hard to bring up some market caps, but it doesn't work. Yeah, when the market cap's at $100 million, take some good dry powder to really move the needle. There was something. Oh yeah, I want to look at this here. So we have the RSI. I want to look at the monthly. Could have sworn. What's crazy is you see how like the RSI, this is back in 2021, we were in, one of the peaks was such an overbought, right? If you look at the peaks that we've seen in this bull run, we haven't even seen that parabolic like blow off top, right? As far as the RSI. So I mean, it's crazy to believe that like that we have so much more. It's is it crazy to believe, or it's crazy not to believe that we potentially have so much more, in store for this bull run, and we haven't really seen that massive blow off top yet. This is on the RSI for the monthly. It just looks like it's getting ready to cook back up, in my opinion. I mean, look at this. You can see last time, the RSI kind of reset is when we made all-time highs, right? And you see this little M pattern on the RSI, came back down, and it looks like, now we don't know for a fact, but it looks like we could have reset, and we're potentially going on another run here. So a lot of bullishness. Like I keep saying though, RSI, TA, all that stuff doesn't matter until we can get, we get confirmation that these tariffs are pretty much resolved. Until then, it is what it is. So don't forget, guys, we have the GDP dropping on the 27th, which is Thursday of this week. So we could see, I'm curious to see if we do see a little bit of a retracement. Where is Bitcoin going to hold, right? Where's Bitcoin going to hold? Where are we going to bounce? So, but with that being said, guys, that's pretty much it. That is pretty much it. Lazy, what's funny? China banned Bitcoin, then bought the dip, and America kind of did the same thing with crypto, fiasco, and tariffs. Bro, it happens every time, dude. It happens every time. It really does. One thing I'll say is, like, with the tariffs, I don't think it was intentional as far as like running the markets down, but at the same time, they're watching like Trump's wallets, and it's not him running the wallets. It's his company. They've been eating up the dip. They've been buying and buying and buying the dip all this last 2 months. They have been acquiring Bitcoin, Ethereum, and a few other projects, Solana, and a few other projects they've been buying like crazy. Not little small buys. They're buying like hundreds of millions of dollars worth. So, I mean, that's why that was like the focus on what I was saying today. Is like the big money is showing you what they're doing right now, right? Because you can't really hide it in crypto. The big money's showing you what they're doing, and they've been just accumulating and accumulating and accumulating, just letting it all play out. Retail is 90% of what's selling off, and it's running to the hills and running to their mommies, right? So, and you know what? We'll see how it plays out, right? We'll see how it plays out as far as everybody buying in fear, if they're going to cash out big or whatever the case may be. But I do think that we're as soon as these tariffs get done, we have a big run ahead of us. So, but with that being said, guys, I'm going to let you guys go. Keep your heads up today. Great day. Market's doing good. Michael Saylor bought more, right? We're getting some good word in regards to the tariffs, maybe a relief. We haven't got a full, everything's done with the tariffs. We haven't got that yet, but it could be coming. And just imagine if we get that news, within hours, the markets could easily retrace right back up to where we were at months ago, right? So we'll see how it plays out. Meme coins, when they start running, I'm telling you guys, they're going to melt faces. So good luck with everybody. We will be back here tomorrow. If you haven't already, or if you're new, make sure you guys slap that like. Hit that subscribe. We'll be right back here tomorrow. Hopefully we have some good news just to pile on to a good day that we've had today. But with that, guys, be safe out there. Keep your heads up. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. All right. See ya.